Dr. Dawn Sears, GutGirlMD, and I am very blessed to have one of my good friends here today, Dr. Nora Vasquez. She is an internal medicine physician. She is a coach. She is the owner and CEO of Renew Your Mind MD. She is also very active with our Texas Medical Association, the largest medical association in the United States. And she is a busy mama, a busy wife, and just a super human, a super being, and somebody who teaches people how to be in touch with their choices, be in touch with their mind, and be in touch with their agency. So thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited to be here and to share.
Super. So here we are a year after COVID, and there has been a lot of changes in your life. Would you like to share with us how COVID has affected you, your life, and your career?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an internist, general internist. I practice outpatient medicine through universities and community health clinics, especially focusing on FQHCs. That's always been my passion, is to give back to my community and serve the underserved. And through that, I noticed through my training, I'm the first to go to college, the first to go to medical school in my family. And so that in itself was a challenge that I was able to overcome, with a lot of support and help. But I noticed, being one of the few Latinas in medicine, we actually only comprise, the statistics say, 2% of all physician women are Latina. And so I always kind of felt like maybe this was new territory. How do I belong in the system? That was so new to me, but I found my way. I had lots of really good mentors. And so throughout my career, though, there were times where, self-doubt would creep in, imposter syndrome would creep in, and even burnout. And at the time, I didn't really know what burnout was, but I could feel the pangs of it throughout my career. And it was really right before COVID where I was starting to struggle, really in terms of my mission. And I always loved taking care of my patients, but I felt like there were times when the struggle was real, and I felt kind of overwhelmed sometimes. And so that led me to actually seek a coach. And I found a coach, and through that, really got to work on my mindset and realized that that was normal.
Absolutely.
It's totally normal that many of us in medicine go through burnout. We feel it. I mean, the training is so rigorous. And so it was normal. And then I got to get a clear mindset of well, what do I want to do? And I'd always felt like leadership was my calling, advocacy was my calling. And I wanted to take a new career step. And so through that, found my way.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Tell us when you got involved with the Texas Medical Association, why, and what it means to you today.
Yeah. So about, was it 5 years ago, we moved to Texas. So I had done my training at the University of Washington in Seattle, and then did residency in Indianapolis in internal medicine, and then was from Texas originally and wanted to come back. And so when I moved back to Texas, I immediately got involved in the Texas Medical Association, started serving on committees, and then actually did their leadership college a couple of years ago, which was transformational. I'd always felt called to do leadership and to be an advocate. And so that training, it was a year-long program, which was pretty phenomenal, was the impetus for me seeking a career change, a career move. And so that, along with the coaching, really brought me to where I am today. And so
fabulous.
Yeah.
So tell us how being involved with the TMA or other state societies is so important during a crisis.
Yeah, I mean, I really believe networking is key, being able to know that, TMA has your back, but also being able to find resources. In the middle of the pandemic, many of us didn't have PPE. A lot of us didn't know where to get vaccinated. And that was a very scary time. If you can recall back to March of 2020, right? It was very scary. We didn't know, is it airborne, not airborne? And so having the connection with your local medical society and then your state society, as they were putting together resources, that was really important, and information. how
Right.
to best protect ourselves and our patients and communities. So that in and of itself was super helpful, but also just knowing that we had others that were in the same boat and trying to find solutions.
Very good. So, how did the TMA, your involvement with the TMA, and you being burnt out and you exploring leadership, what was an unexpected benefit of being involved with the TMA that led to who you are today and the Renewing Your Mind MD that you're now the owner of?
Yeah. So through through that part of my training, I decided that having a coach was so transformational. It really up leveled my life
Hmm.
in terms of my ability to serve my family, my ability to serve my patients and pursue my career passions. I decided, wow, mindset is everything. I really wanted to share that message. And I believe so many physicians in training really need to have a coach. We know coaches are they're very common in athletics, right? We see athletes have coaches invest in coaching to help them reach their peak performance.
Hmm.
We see that in the C-suite as well, executive coaching to help them lead teams.
Hmm.
But in training medical students, we don't get coaching. We
Hmm.
don't learn the business side of medicine. We don't learn how to lead. And, it's kind of like we just learn it as we go.
Hmm.
But to have some formal training is so critical because it really helps you be the best version, best leader, physician that you can be. And so I chose, um, it was kind of like an epiphany. I decided that, gosh, I need to get this message out there. And so I decided to become a coach, get certified as a coach so that
Hmm.
I can share this message. And since then I created an exciting, thriving business where I now coach medical students, residents, attending physicians throughout the United States and Canada. And it's been an amazing journey to see the transformation in their lives, how they can up level their careers too in medicine.
Outstanding. So, do you recommend that that students get a coach already, or do they wait until they're completing their residency? Or I don't think you're going to say that they should wait until they're burnt out mid-career. When's the perfect time to get a coach?
Yeah. I mean, if I knew then what I know now, I would have loved to have had the opportunity and access to a coach. As a medical student, I feel like it would have mitigated burnout. It
Mhm.
would have prevented some of those self doubts
Mhm.
and helped me be a leader,
Mhm.
a more effective leader,
Mhm.
going forward through my training.
Mhm.
And so actually now I'm involved with the American Medical Women Association in their Ignite program, where I'm actually coaching medical students in a group format and also one-on-one, which is
Mhm.
so exciting just to be able to help mentor and coach the new generation of physicians going forward.
Great. And how is the next generation absorbing that?
They love it. I mean, it's so exciting. Yesterday, I was actually coaching a fourth year that was going to start residency this summer, and just to be able to teach her some skills that she can start to implement in the beginning of her training to help recognize and create awareness about her
Mhm.
thoughts and how they're affecting how she shows up,
Mhm.
how she talks to herself. Those are skills that are so important and that are going to help her, you know, reach new heights, in terms of her longevity in her career. So,
Sure.
and they love it. I mean, they get excited. They're so excited to start, their new phase in their journey, and so it's neat
Great.
to see.
And their experience is going to be different than my experience or yours experience was, right? I mean, in my training, we had HIV, that was there. But now the COVID epidemic and the PTSD of being a trainee during this very bizarre chapter. How do you see coaching helping these young trainees, whether they're students, residents, fellows, or young attendings? How do you see coaching help them to be able to absorb all that is happening to them?
Oh my gosh, I think it's critical and crucial. I mean, as we know, the stressors that we had even before COVID
Mhm.
existed, and now with COVID have just amplified that kind of the challenges, of dealing and seeing, the trauma of our patients, what they endure.
Right.
And so coaching can really just help them process, those emotions. A lot of times we're never taught how to process emotion and how to be human, bring the humanity back into medicine. There's so many people that need us. And so we're just kind of taught to kind of stuff it and move on. And so that takes a toll. That in itself is emotionally exhausting. And so, burnout has 3 pillars: emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and low self-efficacy. And so through coaching really is able to target those and help physicians just be more effective and more in touch with their own humanity, compassion, self-compassion too.
Absolutely. So what are some myths you hear about coaching that you wish people understood?
Oh, that's a good question. I think just thinking about myself before coaching, I don't think it's very well known. Most people don't know. Oh, it's just mentoring or advising. And coaching is very different. It's actually taking a high functioning person who's very capable and just tapping into their potential and the possibilities and creating an awareness of asking the right questions and kind of serving as a guide. And not necessarily like a guru or somebody that's going to tell you what to do, but just giving you the time and space to really think and say, this is where I'd like the direction of my life to go, and how can I get there? And so we, as a physician coach, I help guide that transition. And it's so powerful just to have an ally, somebody who has your best interests in mind to guide you through that journey, because there's so many questions and ideas floating around, but to actually help you set goals and implement them and keep you accountable and really elevate your experience. That's what a coach does.
Yes, life-changing. I love it. I love it. So what would you recommend for women physicians, 3 books for them to read as they are navigating their journey through life?
Such a great question. So there are a few books that talk about mindset that I think are really important. One I actually have here. It's Carol Dweck. It's called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success.
Yes, such a good one. Such a good one.
That's a good one. And then, through the TMA Leadership College, I actually read and implemented this book, The Leadership Challenge, which is a really good book. And it talks about servant leadership and values and how to kind of create an effective team. And so I thought that was very helpful. And then, as a Christian woman, I love reading the Bible too. So
absolutely.
Has some amazing wisdom in there too. So
there is. Very good. What do you think going forward are the biggest challenges for women physicians as we emerge out of this pandemic?
It's just having self-compassion and realizing that we're human and there are so many demands and so many shoulds. Like I should be the best doctor, the best partner, the best mom. I have 2 little boys and they're 7 and 9. And I think that idea of perfection, we have such high standards for ourselves and we never feel we're good enough. And if I can just help physicians realize that you are phenomenal human beings, phenomenal, exceptional, and you're enough. Right. You are enough and you have everything that it takes to get through these challenges, whether it's COVID or practicing modern day medicine, but you have it within you. And sometimes you need a guide to help remind you that you can do this. And if you need to rest. And we were never created to be perfect. We were just created to give it our best. And I think that is the message that I want, physicians to realize is that they're highly capable and they are enough.
So if someone wanted to work more with you, for you to help them renew their mind and to relearn these truths that they used to know, but they forgot as they went through the inhumane training programs that we institute, how can they find you and how can they work with you?
Yeah, so I coach individual clients and groups. I also coach at hospitals and institutions. And so I'm really trying to, bring coaching to medical societies, hospitals, groups, medical groups. And they can reach me at www.renewyourmindmd.com. Or they can email me as well at renewyourmindmd@gmail.com.
All right. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. You are a guru of calmness, of clarity, of letting us know that we are enough. It is okay. This is a hard thing that we're doing, and we're doing fine. So I thank you so much for your time, your talents, your passions, and for letting people know what coaching would really look like in the real world through any chapter of their life. Thank you so much, Dr. Vasquez, for spending time with us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, Dr. Sears. Thank you so much.